We're going to go to you, Ben, and talk about healthcare and life sciences at Red Hat and how do you fit into this role? And just give us a top line status to what Red Hat is doing to enable these agencies to perform their missions.
Yeah, thank you. So Red Hat's the world's largest open source software company, and because of that, we are in just about every single healthcare system you could imagine at some level. If you deconstruct the systems and pull apart the software, you will find Red Hat's bits and bytes in there somewhere. Just sort of the nature of the open source community. Um, our role in that community, of course, is to continue to foster that software and make sure the open source community is vibrant and continually growing and has real business value on top of its actual inherent value. And what does that mean for actual health and life sciences? So I'll start with the security aspect. We kind of talked about this already a little bit, but Red Hat's fully engaged in this zero trust future. We've been following zero trust principles in our software for you know, probably 2 decades. But the way you actually configure everything requires, adherence to pillars of zero trust. And so we're doing our best to make everyone in the larger community aware of that, to make sure that security is top of mind, and adhering to, executive orders around zero trust, which, frankly, is not just a value on its own as an executive order, but also it has true strength for a security posture for any organization. And then outside of that, we have really begun to create a world of ubiquity of platforms. So, there's multiple cloud hosts. There's also on-prem, there's also edge computing. And what this represents is a whole series of different nodes all over the world, where you need to deliver systems for the actual care that patients might receive. And we've sort of unified all those systems using Kubernetes, which is really the new operating system of the cloud. And what this really means for everyone here is when we have a machine learning model, okay, that we maybe develop at the VA, and there's an example of this, or I was a participant in Mission Daybreak, where we were producing machine learning models for the prevention of veteran suicide. Those models, as they're developed within one platform, can be served to any number of platforms across the world in any number of different systems. It's not bound to the system at VA. And this is a incredible future where we're able to take machine learning models that might have been developed from the Mayo Clinic or developed from in around healthcare or the Cleveland Clinic, and bring those to the VA and bring those solutions from the VA out and share the code. I mean, ultimately, a machine learning model is code, and we want to be able to deliver that just about anywhere so that everyone can benefit from it, given the proper policy and IP is protected and so on. That future is right now. It's happening today, and it's a very exciting development. And I'd also say that in parallel, the same thing is happening with the automation of healthcare. So process models are being developed to represent clinical care pathways, and those process models are being written with standards that allow those models to be moved across multiple systems. So, for instance, the Mayo Clinic might produce the best clinical care pathway for chronic kidney disease, and they model that, in standards. And that model we can lift it up and actually bring it to the VA, and it will work just as well, and vice versa. That's happening right now, actually between Mayo Clinic and VA. And what makes all this possible is this underlying infrastructure of open source platforms and the adoption of standards, which allows us to interoperate not just the data itself, but the actionable models themselves. So it's a whole nother level of, when we talk about interoperability, it's a whole nother dimension that really gets lost in the shuffle around trying to get the data to be harmonized.